Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2. Hello. Testing. Test 1 2 3. Asparagus. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing. Falafel. Hello? Hello? Testing. Hello everybody, and welcome to Henry's Kitchen, where today we're going to be making delicious, authentic tiramisu. Tiramisu is a Italian dessert item which takes its roots all the way back into the early 1900s, where it was used in whorehouses, or what you would call modern day brothels, as an aphrodisiac for men that were unable to perform sex. And the word tiramisu means pick me up or cheer me up, and it's a coffee flavored Italian dessert made of basically cookies dipped in coffee, layered with a whipped mixture of eggs. Well, it's just going through the ingredients, but yeah, let's go ahead and start with the ingredients here. I hope everybody had a good Monday. Looking at some of your comments here. You had to have sex if you wanted tiramisu. No, I think eventually they realized that this is just a good dessert to have, regardless of whatever medicinal purposes that it had. That happens every now and then. Okay. Hey, 27-inch pounder just subscribed. Thank you for that. Have I ever made tiramisu where I've used beef instead of espresso? That sounds interesting. I believe that's a Moroccan dish. Anyway, I hope everybody had a good Monday, and let's get started. So let's start by going over some of the ingredients here. Hold on a second. There's a lot of ingredients here, so what we have basically are some eggs. I've got 4 eggs here. I've got some cream cheese. And most importantly, the star of our show is going to be the coffee. And I'm going to show you how to grind that up and make coffee the real Italian way. And I've got my measuring cups here. Unfortunately, I don't know where my cup one went, but I'm going to do 2 half cups and hope that that gets close to 1 cup. I also have some cocoa powder. And you can use any kind of alcohol you want. I have vodka left over from my anniversary of doing Henry's Kitchen by myself. And let's see what else. We've got a whisker. You want to have something to stir your eggs with. And there might be other little things that come up here and there. But let's start by boiling some water. So I've got some water here, and this is going to be for our coffee. I've got my hot plate here. So we're going to go ahead and put this on high and push start. And that should start boiling up our coffee there. Ova _, thanks for subscribing there. We've got some comments from people here and there. Where's the butter? I don't know that we need butter for this, but we might. I've got the ingredients here. Can I replace the shoe? Oh, some people asking about the shoe. This is what we're going to use. Oh, hold on. I got it. I have a little technical issue there. This is what we're going to be using to grind our beans. You can use a shoe. You can also use a hammer. I have also this, which is a mallet. So you can get creative in terms of that. Somebody says they have a croc. Yeah, I think that's a type of shoe. Why the fuck is there a shoe? Yeah, you know, maybe if it's putting people off, I can remove it for the moment. Oh, we've got a raid from Nim. Thank you, Nim. I don't have any place to put the shoe for now, but we're going to figure that after the fact. If you're just joining us, we've got our water boiling on a hot plate. We're making tiramisu, which is a wonderful dish that started as an aphrodisiac in Italian brothels and has worked its way into the hearts of the mainstream people. Somebody said they missed the start of the stream. Hopefully that's an old comment because I just started out.
Okay.
Again. Okay. Euphoria 842 subscribed. Okay. So there's a lot going on in this dish, but hopefully it's going to be very rewarding. This is a delicacy. This is something that you're only getting at one of these fancy restaurants. You know, like the Cheesecake Factory or one of the higher end places. You're not going to see this at Arby's roast beef sandwiches, although I think they did have it for a little bit. But okay, so let's start by grinding up our coffee beans here. I'm going to move all this shit out of the way. We don't need any of these items at the moment. So all we need now is our coffee, and we're literally going to start grinding it up with our shoe. This is how they do it in Italy. Roddy Boy cheered 100. Thanks, Roddy Boy. So we're basically just going ahead and all right, Zalbador just subscribed. Okay, so we have a little bit of an issue, and that's that they don't seem to be grinding. I think that's because there's this towel underneath is acting as sort of a, I don't know, a cushion or something. If you get it with the heel, that's good. This is kind of an extra bonus episode. Oh, thanks, Mayo Dongs. It's a bonus episode because you're also going to be getting to learn how to make coffee the right way. None of this Starbucks shit. It's funny with Starbucks because I always predicted that they wouldn't be a successful restaurant because I was reading a book where it said that any kind of food that you can just make at home is not something that people will buy if they go out. And everybody, of course, can make coffee at home. And that's why Starbucks never really took off the way that other ones have. Okay. That's still, it's kind of working. I think I'm going to go to the heavy duty here. I don't like to do this too much because it's a little loud. But this is going to do it. This is going to grind your beans. It's your boy TJ. Thanks for subscribing. Alright, yeah, this is working. And our water is boiling, so we are looking good. It's getting a little smoky here, or misty. Just occurred to me that the camera is right by. I'm not really sure how to solve that. I'm going to stop our hot plate here. And I'm going to give the lens a little wipe down here. Okay, so we've got some ground coffee beans here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do what's called the pour over method. I'm going to take a paper towel. And if you've ever been living on a budget, this is the way that you probably had your coffee. This is a particularly good type of coffee as well. That should be enough, but we always got more if we need it. Be very careful here because this is very hot water. Okay, so that should be seeping through. It is. I can hear it. I'm sorry I'm not answering any questions right now. This is taking up quite a bit of my concentration, but see if I can see something. Tiramisu, that's good. I think that would be a good band name. Somebody said the audio is good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm sorry about the technical glitch that I had there with the camera. But this seems to be under control. So here, let me see if you guys have any questions here. Somebody, wow, there's a lot of chat going on here. Somebody says they don't think it's working. I think it's working okay. I'm going to add a little bit more water. Eventually, the goal is to have. Oh, thanks, Geese Howard, just subscribed. The goal is that eventually you want all of your coffee in that thing, and we're very close to getting that. Is it okay if I buy grinded coffee? You can, but it's not going to taste as good. Somebody, when I was at one of these stores, this is just my regular coffee that I'm drinking here. When I was at one of these fancy coffee places, they said that the water is actually the secret to making good coffee, because apparently when you're drinking coffee, 90% of what you're drinking is water. So if you have good water, and it kind of made me think about a lot of different things, because I was like, well, when you buy a house, I'd probably say 90% of what you're buying is the air that's inside the house. So the question is, why aren't you paying less? But Somebody said put your hand on there for a firm surface. Okay, so let's see how our coffee's doing. I think this is just about ready. I used a pretty strong paper towel here too. Oh, shit. I might have gotten some grounds in there, but not to fret. Ow, that's hot water. If you do get some grounds in there, you can remove them with a spoon, which I have handy here. I actually seem to have a lot. I don't know what happened here. I'm gonna get a bigger spoon. I don't know what happened. I had a big spoon somewhere, but you know what I'm gonna do? Okay, so I just put a lot of the grounds in there. Whatever. This is our coffee. We're gonna go with it, and let's move on to the next order of business. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna remove all of our coffee stuff here. Cleaning up in the kitchen is very crucial because otherwise you can get pretty overwhelmed. But hopefully that's the last bit of actual cooking that we're going to have to do for a little bit here. Got our coffee, which smells delicious. That could be my other coffee actually, but all right, so the next order of business, and I'm working on eventually being able to put the directions up, but I do have a Discord where I post the ingredients ahead of time if anybody's interested in that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to sweeten our coffee. So I'm going to add just a little bit of sugar. And I'm also going to add a little bit of half and half, which I'm not seeing. I don't know what happened. Boy, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on here. I have half and half. You know what? I have a little bit of Ready Whip from the previous thing we did, so I'm going to put some of that in there. I don't know what happened to my half and half. I'm going to stir this up, as well as our vodka. Don't forget that this is an Italian dish, so we're going to be using a lot of alcohol. So this part is just like making your regular coffee in the morning. Basically, you're just putting in sweetener, cream, and alcohol. And stir that up. Now we have our coffee all prepared. The next order of business. Oh, Zootcat NF just subscribed. Next order of business is that we stirred it up. Okay, so we're going to start working on our eggs now. And this part's going to be kind of complicated because what we're doing, I'm going to put my coffee aside. We want to separate the yolks and the eggs. And this is not an easy technique, but we have two bowls, and the tricky part is that we want to put the whites in one bowl and the yolks in the other. And obviously I've been doing this a very long time, so it's going to make it look easy, but if you're out there, don't get discouraged. It takes a little bit of practice. But basically you want to start by cracking your egg. And then you're going to use the shell to keep the yolk from coming out on the first bowl. And just get white in there. See that? And then you're going to put the yolk in the other thing, and then you're going to put that in this one, and then dump the rest out. So let's try that again. We're going to do that 4 times, and so hopefully after the 4th time I do it, you're going to have an idea of how to do it. Crack, open, add white, transfer, and yolk. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that again. Maybe we could come up with a good mnemonic device for this, like an acronym. Crack, so that would be C. Open, so that's C-O. And then white, shit. Okay, I got a little bit of yolk in there. A little bit of yolk isn't gonna kill anybody, but that was a little bit of an amateur move right there. Alright, so we got the white, and then we've got yolk. We've got one more to go here. I'm going to try to be a little more careful about separating. Okay. So crack, open. Fuck. Sorry about the language. Sometimes cooking is very stressful. I'm not sure why the white. Jeez. Okay. Gonna put this over here. Okay, I have a pretty well separated 2 bowls there. Let me get a towel because this is a mess. Next up, once we have them separated neatly into 2 different bowls, one with the yolk and one with the white, we're going to, in the yolk bowl, we're going to add about 1/2 cup of sugar. Unfortunately, I have a 1/2 cup item right here. Hey, thanks, Jesse. Let's pour in our sugar, and we're going to add this to the yolk bowl. That's a 1/2 cup. If you do a little less sugar, then that's great. You're going to be a little less calories, I guess. We've got our 1/2 cup of sugar. Thanks, Von Dutch. Let's see. Let's start whisking it up. I'm sure this part you're probably familiar with. Going to whisk it for about an hour. I'm not going to go that long because we don't have that much time, but I'm going to whisk it a little bit. And let's see if anybody has any questions. People are saying it's gone well so far. Thanks, Waka. Let's see where we're at here. I'm trying to catch up on some of your questions. So, if the coffee gets cold, can you heat it in the microwave? You're going to be winding up. I think that we cook this dish anyway, so you don't have to worry about the coffee getting cold. And a nice thing's happening to it because the grounds are rising to the top, which means it's going to be easier for me to get rid of them because I fucked up a little bit there. Let's see here. Alright, I don't want to get distracted doing that, but okay, so our yolk bowl is pretty well stirred up at this point. Now we're going to go to the white bowl. Remember, this is the one that only has our whites in it. You can see I have a little bit of yolk in there, but that's not going to hurt anybody. And we're going to add some of our cream cheese. I'm going to do 1/4 cup of cream cheese. Let's set the yolk bowl aside. I know this is a lot to keep up with, but I hope that if you're doing this at home, it's coming out similarly. And let's stir it up. So obviously we've been in COVID-19 for a very long time now, and it's affected a lot of what we watch. And thanks, Lex, for live. It affected a lot of what we've been watching on TV and movies and stuff. And I had this idea for a movie where it's a guy with a time machine, and he decides to go back to the day before COVID happened, so that he can warn everybody, or so that he can like stop it somehow. But when he gets out of the time machine, he puts the wrong date, and he puts it like a week later, so everybody's already in COVID, and he winds up getting COVID. And then he gets back in the time machine, and he goes into the future and winds up giving everybody in the future COVID. So he just kind of kept COVID going longer than it even was going to be. It's sort of one of those sci-fi things where the ending kind of blows your mind. Okay, this is looking pretty good. So what we have here now is 2 bowls. We want to get it sort of a meringue consistency. I'd say it's pretty meringue at this point. Now we're going to take the yolk bowl and we're going to pour it into a larger bowl, which I have here. Got my larger bowl here, and we're going to pour the yolk bowl in there. And then we will be adding our egg white bowl, and we're going to pour this in as well. And it says that we're going to stir it all together. So in a way, we're kind of just putting it all together, which begs the question, why didn't we just pour it all into one bowl? I don't know. There's a lot of things in the kitchen that I don't quite understand, but if you stick to the directions, generally speaking, you're going to come up with something that looks similar to what it's supposed to be. I'm going to remove my hot plate. Hey, thanks, yup, Eric. Okay, just removing my hot plate here because I'm starting to get a lot of crap. So we're going to stir it up. I would say if you're doing this, without, we're streaming, so I'm trying to sort of streamline some of the process, no pun intended, but I would say generally you want to probably stir these up at least a half hour every time you have a new bowl. That's just sort of the rule of thumb. I have some more coffee here. That's nice and hot. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Our next order of business is we are going to be start building our layers. So we've got a cookie sheet here. And this cookie sheet is filthy, so I'm going to go ahead and use some paper over it. And what we're going to do is start by not quite sure. Okay, I think what we're doing basically is we're taking these types of cookies are called a lady finger cookie, which is I don't know what kind of sick person came up with that name, but it's basically a little bit like a sugar cookie. One of them just fell apart there. But what we're going to do is we're going to make sort of a makeshift assembly line situation here, whereby we're going to build layers. So we're going to take this cookie and we're going to dip it into the coffee first, try to get both sides, and then we're going to build a cookie layer. And then we're going to build another layer of the egg mixture. So here we go. I've got my lady finger here, and I'm going to dip this into both sides of my coffee. Unfortunately, that one fell apart. I think that's obviously going to happen. I'm not sure what they're thinking here. But Okay, we got to come up with a plan B here, because what's happening is my ladyfinger cookies are dissolving in the coffee. Maybe it's because it's too hot. I'm not sure, but we can't have that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put the layer down. Try to get some of this one that I had in there. You want it to be square. Oh, come on. It's a little like Tetris. You're sort of building. All right, I'm just gonna make my bottom layer. And I don't think there's anything wrong with just pouring our coffee over it, or maybe I can spoon it over. It takes a long time before you're adequate enough in the kitchen to where you can troubleshoot things in real time. I remember years ago, I would be trying to cook, and every time I came across some problem, I would go to Google and do all kinds of research, and sometimes I'd go to the library and try to get these books, and meanwhile the thing's burning in the oven or whatever. But now I've sort of gotten to the point where I can just sort of improvise stuff. Alright, hey, at the end of the day, we're going to have cookie, we're going to have coffee, and we're going to have our egg mixture, and that's really what we're doing here. So let's go ahead, pour over one layer of our egg mixture, not the whole thing, because we're gonna put another layer on top. And now we're gonna do another layer of our cookies. These are gonna be delicious, and if you're cooking for just yourself, you should be able to store it. Remember, it is egg, so it's not gonna last forever, but it should certainly last a couple weeks, or however long eggs usually last. See if anybody's got any question here. If the coffee gets cold, can I heat it? Oh, I'm way back. Let's try this here. Somebody said looks good. Thank you. Grimsue said, I hope I can be as good as Henry someday. You can be. I mean, I've been cooking a long time. I usually half calf, half decaf with half creamer and half, or Sanka. Yeah, you could do that. Couple other things. Somebody asked if I have experience working in a factory. Oh, probably because of the assembly line thing. No, I worked at the library a long time ago, so a lot of times when I had a little bit of extra time, I would sneak back into the reference area and the nonfiction area and read about things. I'm quite sure that factory processes were in there. I think it was somebody like Getty or somebody who came up with the assembly line idea, but it comes up a lot in cooking. Okay, so I put all our coffee in there, and that smells delicious. Now let's pour the rest of our egg mixture. Uh-oh, I just realized I think I'm supposed to preheat the oven here. Jeez. Yeah, I'm going to put the oven on 350 degrees. I'm using directions. I just want to say here, when you're getting directions for your recipes on the internet, just realize you have no idea who these people are. It could be some middle-aged man, living God knows where, thinking that he knows how to teach people how to cook or whatever. So always double check your recipes ahead of time. I kind of made the mistake of not doing that this time. It didn't tell me to preheat the oven, so now I've just, thank goodness I caught it in time. But overall, you want to add a little bit of your own common sense to whatever it is that you're doing. here. Okay, so let's move on. Oh, sorry, I accidentally went to the roast beef cam there. That's my cat, roast beef. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put a little bit of cocoa powder over top. And, oh, actually, there's a very cool trick that I'm going to teach you right now. It's called the fork spoon trick, and it's Italian. I'll use my coffee spoon. This is what they do in the fancy restaurants. You're going to put your fork and your spoon over the dish like so, and then you're going to pour your cocoa over it. It's not coming out. It's all jammed up in there, so that's a problem. Here we go. Okay, can't have too much cocoa. So we've got it. And next thing that we're going to do now, watch very carefully as I do this. And remember, I've been doing this a long time, so I'm going to make it look easy. But if you're just getting started at home, you're going to pick this up very gently and try to make sure that the cocoa doesn't fall off of it. And there you have a fork shape underneath, which is kind of fancy. This was originated in an Italian brothel to impress people who were having difficulty performing sexually. Okay, so we've got this X situation there, and you can see it looks like a spoon and a fork. Now, for the fun part, let's put it in the oven. So if you're just joining us, you should have, what we're doing is we're making tiramisu. And we started by making our coffee, obviously, and then we put an egg mixture where we separated the eggs and the yolks and added sugar and cream cheese and then put them back and then built layers with ladyfinger cookies. And again, I don't know what sick fuck came up with that name for them, but they look kind of like fingers, I guess. But we build a bottom layer, we pour over one layer of our egg mixture, add more ladyfingers, and then top it off with more egg mixture, and finally the cocoa with the fork and the spoon trick. So that gets you all updated. I have the oven preheated at 350 degrees. We're going to put it in there for about 20 minutes, and maybe in the meantime we could do a little music or whatever. Oh shit. I've got a bunch of stuff in the oven already, so let me I'm going to take this stuff out of the oven, but it's going to be very hot. Or no, you know what I'll do is I'll just put it on the bottom. There we go. Our tiramisu is in the oven, and maybe this would be a good time to do, let's see, somebody said they cut their very first, this is Kookaroo, said they cut their first potato today at the ripe old age of 54. You're never too old for anything. That's right. It's never too old to learn new things, and cooking is one of those things as you get older that you'll start getting more attracted to because it's got just a little bit more of an adrenaline rush than younger activities like skydiving or whatever. Hanroy says, will lima beans work instead of coffee beans? I mean, they're both beans. I would imagine they have similar properties, so you could try that. A lot of people's religion prevents them to have coffee. Let's see here. Asens said, isn't there supposed to be cheese involved? Yeah, remember we put our cream cheese into our egg white bowl and we mixed it up. We've got some more comments. Holly Palloy says, just put the ladyfingers in the toasty toaster individually. See, this is why I got to get better at reading the chat here, because that actually would have been a way that it wouldn't have dissolved so quickly. But I think we worked it out. Let's see here. Some other comments. Okay, so, all right. Well, hey, without further ado, maybe this would... Oh, Alexa, set the timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
Okay, so we're baking our tiramisu, and maybe this would be a good time to do a little number. Okay. Kikrelli just subscribed. That's cool. Last time, somebody requested this song called Florentine Benedict, which was a song by Jose Suicidio, and it was based on a dish that I actually originated. It's a little bit like eggs Florentine, a little bit like eggs Benedict. Florentine means spinach, Benedict means ham. So I combined the two, and I think it was a pretty successful dish. It not only had the protein, but it had a lot of carbs as well. And this is the song. I'm going to do the best that I can. Okay. Nalio. Thanks. People say she's out of my league. I'm coming up with a plan. Change the way I strut my stuff. I'm gonna be a new man. I'll make her Florentine Benedict. Egg spam and spinach with a pumpernickel bagel. It's Florentine Benedict. Queso on top, and I'm gonna make her mine. Everybody, Florentine Benedict. Egg spam and spinach with a pumpernickel bagel. It's Florentine Benedict. Queso on top, and I'm gonna make her mine with my Florentine Benedict. Okay. Bibby Mac just subscribed, and a few other people too. I just I want to say thank you, German Waffle and Tazila19 and Nolio. Thank you very much. We've talked about COVID-19. I've got a song that I wrote back in the early days of COVID-19. It was right when we found out that we had this fatal disease, and it was a tough time in general because there was a lot going on, and I remember there was an issue with killer bees arriving in California. And it was just a very depressing time. Fortunately, things are all good now. But let's see. The deficit's at an all-time high. We're sending nuclear bombs to the sky. Inflation is on the rise as political accusations fly. And California just got hit by a swarm of killer bees. And now you tell me there's a fucking global disease. COVID-19, COVID-19. I've been sitting here in quarantine while the nightly news shows deadly tales of COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19. I just ordered hydroxychloroquine from a doctor who doesn't believe in COVID-19. COVID-19, COVID-19. Let's take a shot of Listerine and raise our glasses high again for COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19. I had sex with Candy Finkelstein in a dream I had about COVID-19. I think we're all gonna have COVID-19. that song. A lot going on there. Katkatska. Very cool name. Thanks for subscribing there. Speaking of cat, maybe this would be a good time for us to check in on roast beef. Pretty much just chilling. So that's good. All right, so we're getting pretty close. I'm definitely smelling it. No stream of mine would ever be complete without me saying thank yous to people. So maybe have a sip of your coffee, kick back. We're gonna have some delicious tiramisu very soon here, but I want to say a very special thank you. First to the moderators out there: Dingo Bop, Fawcan, Dom Beef, Hottest Bear, Dude Dingle, Dogoggy, Dr. Flanges, and other people who have provided help: Bacchus, Daisy Blossom, Melon95, Pilskman, and a couple of the people who got me started on this. My friend Bill Larkin. Last time I said at Bill Larkin, but it's actually at Bill Larkin Music. I mean, this guy is an incredible. He improvises music and has his own channel, and I can't say enough good things about him. If you think my music sucks, then you should probably go check out his channel for some good music. VLGX has helped me a lot. Technically, Bumblevision helped me out a lot, and probably the biggest help to all these videos was Nim, who even today sent a lot of people over to watch the channel. Oh, there's the oven, I guess, just finally reached the temperature. But so yeah, I want to thank Nim for having me on his stream, and also Forsen, who I've never met, but also sends a lot of people over this way, so I appreciate that. And I want to thank all of you wonderful people for doing all this. I mean, for watching and for basically just participating. We're real close here. I'm just still not very good at navigating through the chat thing, but I'm going to get better at it. I also want to start doing badges. I'm a little behind on that. At the end of the day, I'm a chef. I cook. I teach people how to cook. I try to share my culinary tutelage, which is a good word, with the world, because I feel like at one point I suddenly realized I was better at this than a lot of people, and I felt like it would be selfish for me to not share that with people. And so that's why I'm sharing it with you. So it's a little difficult for me to be worrying about things like cameras and other technical things, but I'm doing the best that I can. Badges can be just a pan that fills and darkens with smoke through the years. That's probably a Twitch reference. Somebody said they don't have coffee at home. Can you use a soy drink? I would imagine so. Soy drink probably would be sweet, and coffee is sweet if you put sugar in it, so it's a very similar situation. But I don't know about you guys, but I think we're getting pretty close to being ready to, thanks Inaria, to get our dish out here, and let's see what we have to work with here. Okay. Thanks, Silent AJ. Okay, let's see here. What the hell is this? Well, it definitely looks like the ones they have in the fancy restaurants, that's for sure. I guess the big question is, how's it gonna taste? It's very hot at the moment, so we're gonna let that cool just a little bit. But to plate this, we basically just want to take a plate, which I can't find my plate either. I've got a plate somewhere, but I don't know what happened to it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take our fork, which has a lot of the chocolate on it still, but that's okay. My main concern is I hope that the egg had enough time to cook, and I think it did. I was reading once where I think cooking an egg happens at about 3 minutes and 27 seconds when you're cooking it at 350 degrees. So I think it was at least that long. So here we go. This is our tiramisu. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but let's see how it tastes. Whoops. Okay. And if you're making this at home, I hope yours came out as good as this. Yeah, this tastes fine. I mean, it's a little heavy on the ladyfingers cookie situation, but I definitely taste the cocoa powder that we put on top of it, and they're nice and toasty. So again, this is a lot for one person, so you can store it, but I would be careful about waiting for it to go longer than a week or so, because you're going to have salmonella starting to form in the egg mixture. But I'd say overall this was a success. Try it with a little bit of coffee. Somebody asked, hey Henry, I'm currently cooking a pasta casserole. What's your favorite topping for a pasta casserole? Well, certainly not anything sweet, because that would be more of a dessert item. I like to put, I guess, something Italian, some hot sauce of some sort. Tabasco sauce, maybe. Could Moon get a shout out? He's a huge Henlips fan. Yes, thank you Moon too. I've seen Moon's name a lot, so thank you very much for that. And also, I believe Shane hit me up on Twitter and showed that he was putting a lot of these clips on Reddit, which I appreciate, because there's been some nice comments there. So I don't know, everybody's been extremely friendly. Shout out to Jesse Anime. He's a big fan, but he happens to be fat and bald. Nothing wrong with that, but yeah. So I'd like to. I got a little bit of a coffee bean in there, which is fine. You can eat that too. And I think there's a little bit of eggshell in there as well. So I'd like to see how yours turned out, even though it probably wasn't. Oh, okay. You know what? I just had a little bit of a realization. This was the bowl that we were supposed to be pouring our mixture from, and I believe I poured whatever the rest of this was. So that might be why I'm not really tasting much of the egg mixture. I'm tasting mostly lady fingers and cocoa. I want to say thank you to Lop LW4. Shit. Sometimes it's hard to read while you're doing this kind of thing. Yeah, that's a problem, because now I just realized that the whole point is you're supposed to mix them up in the bowl and then pour it onto your tiramisu, and I took it from the yolk bowl for whatever reason. But hey, the coffee's good, and you know what? It's still sweet. and I'm gonna have another bite. And I hope that you enjoyed learning how to make authentic tiramisu, and I hope yours came out delicious. Ladyfingers are a great type of cookie to have with coffee, whether they're covered with egg and cheese or not. But well, as always, I want to say a very special thank you to every one of you for supporting Henry's Kitchen. It started a month and a half ago here on Twitch, and it's been just very joyful to be able to spread my message of culinary wisdom. So I want to thank everybody, and until next time, which will be Sunday at noon, I hope everybody has a wonderful week, and thank you very much.